Hello, this is the Ramblings of an Undisciplined Mind podcast for Tuesday, August 9th, 2016. As of this recording, Sierra is still missing. So, RSS. I said I was going to do RSS for Newbs. And the reality of RSS is that most people in this day and age have already used the concept. They may not know what it is, but they have used it. So, for instance, if you have used your DVR, if you have a cable company or DirecTV or something like that, and you have set up to record an entire series and say, give me the series, and so you automatically record stuff as it comes on, that's basically what RSS gives you. If you've hit subscribe on somebody on YouTube, so you subscribe to their channel, like maybe my channel, hint, hint. You're in essence using syndication, and that is what RSS. That's one of the things that RSS is thought to stand for, is really simple syndication. So all that happens with RSS is somebody like me who has got a blog where they're doing regular posts or posts at certain times, they will, most blogs will automatically set it up with an RSS feed, and all that is a file that's stored someplace, and we don't care what and in what format, but it has a list of here's all the episodes, and so when I add a new episode, my RSS file a new episode gets added to it. And so then there are various things that you can use to read those feeds and therefore get access to this content that comes out, like a podcast like this one. The good news is that if you have an Apple device, if you have an iPod, if you have an iPhone, anything where you're using iTunes or the podcast app or anything like that, and you search for a podcast and you find it, and you click the little subscribe button and say subscribe, guess what? You've just subscribed to an RSS feed. I know this because I've set up 2 or 3 things on Apple's podcast store, and that's all you're doing is you're providing Apple an RSS feed, and they're serving it out to their users. So if you use the podcast app, and then you automatically get episodes, presented to you as they get published by people like me, you are using an RSS feed. Now, you don't obviously know all the technical whizzing and widgets and whatnots behind the scenes, but you don't have to. And that's kind of the cool thing about it, is that it can be a largely automatic technology. Even for me, I use a process that I don't have to, back in the day, people would have to painstakingly manually update this file with new episodes, and they'd screw something up, and so you'd have an episode that wouldn't work, and you'd let them know, I messed up this one part in the RSS file. I never bother with that. I found a process that will, when I post something to the blog, it automatically will generate, it will add that to the RSS file, and it just happens automatically. So long as I don't screw up the blog entry, it's all automatic. And then likewise, coming in is all automatic. It's if you're using something like Apple's service. Now, if you're Android, I actually got your back covered there too, because there are a number of different things you can use in Android. There's a class of applications called podcatchers, and you can go to a website and find typically an RSS feed. There is an icon for the RSS feed. I will make it the cover art for this episode. It'll be on the episode post on pensinger.com if you want to see what it is. It's basically a little orange square, and there's a dot in the lower left corner, and then there's a couple of couple of half circles radiating out from that, kind of like a Wi-Fi symbol, but kind of on its side. Like I say, I make it the cover art for this. I'll be on the blog if you want to see what it is. You'll see that a lot of times, that maybe at the bottom of a page, and that's just a link to say, hey, there's an RSS feed here. So you can use any of these podcatchers, and you can go to a website and you can copy that link, and then you can paste that into the web catcher, and it will read the feed, and it'll say, okay, so here's everything I can download for you. I do have a better option for you, though. I used an application called BeyondPod. It sounds spelled just like it sounds, all run together. And that's what I've used for 3 or 4 years now as my pod catcher. And when I had to do a factory reset on my phone 2 or 3 months ago, and I was looking for, I had to add my podcast back into the app because I had to reinstall the app. They have a directory. And I thought, well, I'll just start searching the directory. So I started searching the directory for all the podcasts that I like to listen to, and they were all there. And I was like, oh, really? Really? I was surprised. So I thought, what is this directory, and how do I get my stuff in it? And then I searched for this podcast, and it was there. And I'm like, I'm already in this directory? And what I found out is that it's using iTunes. It's accessing the iTunes directory. So you've got, and in case you didn't know it, iTunes is kind of the central repository for all podcasts, because there's so many Apple users. And podcasting started off as just something you did on an Apple iPod, hence podcasting. So that's a really easy way. You can pretty much rest assured, if there's any kind of a podcast that has any kind of a following or wants to build any kind of a following, it's going to be on the Apple iTunes store. That's the way it goes. That's the 800-pound gorilla in the podcasting world. And if you want people to listen to your stuff, you're going to have to put something there. So it is called BeyondPod. There is a free version and a paid version. I think you get some limitations on the free version. I bought the paid version some time ago, and it was like $4. It was not bad at all. And the good thing is that once you buy it, you've got it for life. So those are RSS feeds. It's just a very simple way of subscribing to somebody's content and then automatically getting access to those episodes as they get put out. And it could be a blog, it could be a podcast like this. There's all sorts of things. Now, the other thing I'll tell you is, if you're not really big on using something, a BeyondPod or the podcast application, if you like dealing with the websites and the things as they come up on websites, I've got another option for you. And that is a website called Feedly.com. Feedly, I believe, .com. And Feedly is nice because you can add something to it. It's got a bit of a directory too. I don't know what they use as the back end for their directory, but they've got a directory. But if you can't find what you're looking for on their directory, they do have a spot where you can type in the address, which is called the URL, but the address of a website. And what's cool about Feedly is that if that site has got some sort of an RSS feed associated with it, so I can just type in penslinger.com in Feedly, and it will automatically say, oh, there's an RSS feed. Do you want to subscribe to that RSS feed? Yes, I would. Thank you very much. And then you will have that. You'll see Penslinger. You'll have a list of everything you've subscribed to, and you can go there and see what's new. And you're looking at it through the website interface. You can very easily go, click on that to go to the web page, or if like I share content, I've got a little player on the blog post. You can just click play. That should show up right there within Feedly. So if you want to do something like this and get your feet wet with RSS a little bit, but do it from a web page format, I would recommend Feedly.com. I use it personally. I use it there are a number of sites that I've got some comic book sites that I read that put out like daily or weekly comics. I've got a few other things that I subscribe to, and I use Feedly for that, and I'm checking that pretty much every day. So that is a website that I use. So that's what I had to share on RSS feeds. If you have any questions, if you're listening to this and something's still unclear, feel free to leave me a comment someplace. Send me an email, tweet me on Twitter, however you can get a hold of me. Feel free to do so. And then what I will do is on Saturday's feedback episode, I will answer whatever questions might come up. But that's all I've got for today. I will be back tomorrow. I'll be talking to you then. So, be seeing you.